Huge Sunday, 4-0, all dogs in the MLB, all the way up to a plus 180 with Colorado yesterday. We got a lot more dog action in MLB going on today. Stay tuned. You guys are going to get a free bet for the NBA later tonight, one of John's bets. John, a huge weekend. Hopefully we can capitalize on coming off the big Sunday, going on in. Start a good start to last week. Didn't, middle got a little patchy, but another profitable week in baseball, and NBA has been doing NBA.
Yeah, 4-0 last Sunday, 4-0 again yesterday. Again, like I say, when I go 4-0, it's a different 4-0.
Yeah.
Our 4-0 yesterday, Rockies plus 180, Guardians plus 145. What everybody was betting Minnesota with Ryan. Who did we take plus? I'm sorry, Guardians was plus 142. Nationals plus 145. Hey, we'll take the comeback, come from behind win, just to win them. That's how we want to win them sometimes. And then the Rangers plus 112, a pitching mismatch. Perez against Suarez, who's been absolute garbage this year. Hey, 4 for 4, like I said, with 4 dogs. It's a monster day, not just a good day. Really feel bad for the guys that members that canceled their subscription after a bad Saturday. Like, we had a stretch of 9 days. I don't know. We were ahead over 40 units, and we have a bad day, and you guys are canceling. Say it a million times, guys. Don't want to be there for the funeral and miss the wedding. You missed the wedding yesterday. It was a great wedding. I had a great time at the wedding. It was like I banged the fucking bride. That's how I felt. Anyway, not too late. Jump on, rehire, or resubscribe. Gonna kill Major League Baseball. Really feel like I got a great grab on it. Tough early in the season. But things are starting to get right now. The dogs are playing like they should be. Got a good grasp on the team. Some teams started quick. They're starting to fade. Some teams are actually catching their stride. We're on top of it all. Let's give you the whole baseball rundown. I can't give you guys all the games I'm betting, so pay attention. You're going to have to listen. I'm not going to make it easy to you, and you'll get an idea who we're on. I'll give you the one bet that I've got in NBA when we get there. We'll do that at the end, Ben.
Top game on this MLB card, Rockies and Pirates. Two teams, like you said, are starting to figure out. Rockies started off ice cold. They've been piecing it together, winning 6 of their last 7, hitting .293 this week. Then you have Pirates. They're the second hottest team in April. All of a sudden, they've lost 7 straight, scoring just 9 runs, hitting .174 this week. So 2 offenses going in 2 different directions. You have Freeland, who was lit up by the Pirates earlier this year, gave up 9 runs in 2 2/3, coming off a couple of better starts, though. And then Keller, he's coming off his worst start this year, gave up 5 runs in 5 innings after he had 5 quality starts to start the year. Got to be a lean here to Colorado. He's getting a big dog with an offense who's absolutely rolling. Pittsburgh, obviously, they've hit a little speed bump after the hot start. At what point are they going to kind of come back to life? I don't want to guess that. So until Pirates start to look like they did in April, this is way too big of a price. Rockies are nobody.
Yeah, how could I not love the Rockies after taking them as a 180 dog yesterday, and they put 13 a baker's dozen on the board against the Mets. Look, as Ben said, Pirates destroyed the Rockies, a 3-game set in Coors, and Freeland got crushed. But again, that's in Coors. He's a different pitcher on the road, guys. 1-1, 3.0 ERA, 2 starts this year, 4-5, 3.08 ERA. 15 starts last year on the road. He's the Rockies ace. Rockies, all of a sudden, they've won 4 of their last 6 road games. Their bats are going. Pirates, they were here and just fell off. It wasn't like a slow decline. 7 straight games they've lost now. They have not scored more than 2 runs during the 7-game losing streak. Ice cold, Rockies hot, Rockies ace. Rockies.
Yep, absolutely. Then we have Cardinals at Cubbies, first of the rivalry this year. You have Mikolas and Stroman on the mound. Mikolas, typically some road struggles. Last 2 starts been good, though. 3 runs in 12 innings. Then you have Stroman, 6 of his 7 starts been quality starts. Been one of the better pitchers this year. Last 2, 3 runs in 12 1/3. Not a good history with the Cubs last year. 0-2, 6.75 struggled at Chicago or in Chicago in the matchup against the Cardinals. Sorry, I said against the Cubs. This is a tough little matchup. So the Cardinals finally snapped a win streak. They put up 12 runs yesterday against Detroit. Snapped the losing streak. Keep mixing that up. Then you have the Cubs coming in. They lose to the Marlins. They take 2 of 3 in the series after their little losing skid. This is going to be a slight lean to the Cubs. Starts to taking this number down for the Cardinals. Starting to get a little bit too low for my liking. If it keeps getting lower, we'll be on the Cubs. At some point, Cardinals will go on the run. We've been talking about that. Actually, a statistic that kind of goes in their favor. They're top 3 as far as hard-hitting baseballs, exit velocity. The other 2 on the list, Tampa Bay and Boston, who have been absolutely hitting the shit out of the ball. So Cardinals, you could argue, getting a little bit unlucky, hitting right 2 defenders, hitting the right spots. Top 3 as far as hard hit, just not landing. So at some point, this Cardinals team will come around. The pitching's been a big part of that problem as well. But until I see them, I have no reason to bet this game on St. Louis. So lean to Stroman, and the Cubs here just needed to keep going lower.
Yeah, that's what it's been. Game opened $1.55 on the overnight, which I thought was a little bit high. Cardinals are better than that 8-game losing streak, as Ben was telling you, just hitting a little bad luck. Goldschmidt busting out the whooping stick yesterday. So that number was a little high. But where it's gone to now, as far as down as low as -125, now you're on the other end. That's a little too low. I'm right in the middle, so no play for me. But you can see where all the sharp money's gone on the overnight. It's all St. Louis. But they were on St. Louis in the last 5 games of that losing streak also, and they came up empty-handed.
Then you have Dodgers at Milwaukee. Dodgers, they beat the Padres. They've won 8 of 9, scoring 6.6 runs per game, playing good baseball right now. You have the Brewers coming in. They get a win against the Giants to snap the 6-game losing streak. It's Peralta versus Gonsolin. Pitching edge to Peralta, coming off 2 quality starts, 4 runs in 12 innings. 1 start versus Dodgers last year, 1 run in 4 innings. And then for the Dodgers, you have Gonsolin going. Second start back was a bit decent. He gave up 3 runs in 4 2/3. Just 2 starts against the Brewers last year, pretty damn good. 1 run in 12 innings. They won both those games. Dodgers red hot. I don't want to get in the way of it. Now, I give the pitching edge to Peralta. Dodgers, I said it on Friday, they just get hot differently. They go on crazy win streaks. They put up a shitload of runs. It's not close. This line is firing on all cylinders right now. 8 of 9, scoring almost 7 a game. I'm going to take Dodgers or nobody in this one, despite the pitching edge.
Yeah, I don't give it much of a pitching edge, but the pitching edge belongs because Gonsolin, this will only be his 3rd start back. I believe he went 3 1/3 the first time, 4 2/3 the second time out. So they're trying to ease him back in. Expect him to go 5+ this one. Peralta, like you said, coming off 2 nice starts, and he does better at home. 3-1, 2.66 in the 4 starts. But Milwaukee ice cold, Dodgers red hot. This is basically a pick'em game this morning. There's been a little Dodger action for it. There was a little Dodger action for it, and then it came back to Milwaukee. Now Milwaukee's the favorite, but again, it'd have to be the Dodgers or nobody in this one.
Then you have Marlins at Arizona. It's Gallen versus Garrett. Gallen was actually human his last start, gave up 3 runs in 5 innings after 27 straight shutout innings. It leads the MLB in K-walk ratio. Then you have Garrett going hammered. 11 runs at Atlanta, 14 hits and 4 1/3. He was solid in his prior 3 starts. This is an interesting little matchup. They met earlier this year. You had Marlins win 2 of 3 meetings in Miami. D-backs won 5 of 6 last year. 2 teams coming off snapping some losing streaks. You have Marlins coming off the win to snap a 5-game losing streak. D-backs snapped a win streak yesterday. They blow that lead to the Nationals, give up 3 runs there late. This is a slight lean here to Miami. Don't love it. See if Gallen gets back to form. But the way Gallen's been going over his last 5 starts, don't want to go against that guy. If he looks anything like he did in the last start, I see some value there for Miami.
Yeah, tough spot for Miami. They break the losing streak yesterday, but they got to take 14 innings to do it in Chicago and then fly out to Arizona after the game. Arizona stayed home after their win. They're in the middle of a 10-game homestand. Arizona will come in pissed off after spitting one up to the Nationals yesterday. They've got their ace on the mound. Before the last game against before his last game, Gallen at Texas, who's right up there as the hottest hitting team, actually scored the most runs in Major League Baseball. He was unhittable. I mean, he just absolutely, I think it was a 27-1 K to walk ratio. He actually leads the majors in K to walk ratio. So tough spot for Marlins. We talk about overlays a lot. This was an overlay. Number was crazy, but for a good reason. Tough spot for Marlins to come in and win this game after playing extra innings against the Arizona team that stayed home and lost a tough one with their ace on the mound.
And then we have Nationals at Giants. Nationals coming off maybe the letdown side of that come from behind win against Arizona. Big pitching edge here to the Giants. You have Irvin. He's only made one start in the MLB, 1 run and 4 1/3 for Washington, 3 Ks, 4 walks in that win over the Cubs. Desclafani has just been solid. 5 of his 6 starts been quality starts. Last 2 runs in 14 innings. Hasn't faced the Nats since 2021, but that was a better Nats lineup. Give up 15 shutout innings, 14 Ks, 2 walks. Pretty good, and he is second behind Gallen as far as K-walk ratio. Nats, they've won 4 of 6, scoring 4.5 runs per game. Giants, they had a little 4-game win streak prior to the loss to the Brewers. This would be a lean here to the Nationals. Now, I don't want to bet them after the letdown. Don't want to go against the massive pitching edge. It's just a big price here for a battle of teams who've both been playing well.
Huge price. First of all, thank you, Nationals. Way to come back. Look, this team fights. They fought the Nationals. They fought the Diamondbacks in the game before that also. They just don't die. They're a solid road team. Now 8-8 on the road. They've won 4 of their last 6 road games. They've scored 17 runs in their last two games. So 100% huge edge for DeSclafani, but pitching like a monster. But San Fran's not even a 500 team. Just 9-8 at home. And they've scored more than 4 runs only once in the 7 games since they come back from Mexico in their last 7 games. So just DeSclafani, give them the huge edge. But San Fran's just not a 210 favorite. Nationals, we've talked about it. Better road team than they are at home. That's why if you had to beat the bookie member, you go to my ratings page and you'll see how I've got them rated. Nationals nobody. I get the letdown after the big game and the travel, but too big of price, even though there's a big pitching edge.
Then we have Detroit at Cleveland. This is another one of those hot lineups versus a cold lineup. Tigers, they lose yesterday at St. Louis, but they had won their prior 5, scoring 5.5 runs per game their last 6. Guardians coming off a 2-0 win against Minnesota. They are 29, scoring just 3.6 runs per game. A couple of bottom-tier offenses. They're hitting just 182 this week. Then you have horrible pitching matchup. You have Wentz versus Bibby. Bibby's actually been really impressive his first 2 career starts, 3 runs across 11 innings. Wentz just last 3 starts, 12 runs, 19 hits, and 15 2/3. Really tough to back him. But again, one of these matchups similar to Colorado and Pitt we have going on today, just hot offenses, cold offenses, division battle, big dog price. Could only look one way there to the Tigers.
Yeah, Wentz has been terrible. While Bibby's looked really good in his first 2 major league starts. But take a look underneath the hood there. The 2 starts are against the Yankees without Aaron Judge in the lineup, who they're hitting all of 200 without him in the lineup. And the other start was against Colorado in Cleveland. Colorado on the road prior to yesterday's eruption. They were batting .220 on the road. So 2 favorable matchups for Bibby. So is he that good? We'll see today. He might be. And once, like I said, Wentz is just terrible. But this is a big number for a team that's won 4 of their last 6 road games, Detroit now. And they've scored 5 runs or more in 5 of their last 6 games, while Cleveland has scored 3 runs or less in 6 of their last 7. Again, just a big number. Team that's hitting, team that's not hitting. I got to take the team that's a big dog that's hitting.
Then we have 2 teams both smacking the shit out of the ball, Rays and Orioles. You have Rays, obviously best record in baseball. Orioles, 5.5 games behind them for the second best record in the AL. As far as the Rays, maybe a little bit of a letdown. They were down 6-0 yesterday against the Yanks, come all the way back.
Cole in the Yankees, too. Not Buddy Cole on the mound.
And they get that 8-7 win in that rally from behind. You have the Orioles. They lose at Atlanta 3-2. They dropped their last 2 of a really long 6-4 trip, but pretty good on most of the trip. Interesting stat, they are 11-0 this year in series openers. We'll see if they continue that against Tampa Bay. Pitching as to Tampa Bay, I mean, even McClanahan, he's been as good as ever. 5 of his 7 starts, been quality starts. Then you have Gibson going for Baltimore. Last 2 starts, 9 runs, 18 hits, 11 innings. Now, Got to lean to the O's here. It's an obvious letdown spot there for Tampa Bay. They've actually did well against them in Baltimore last year. They won 7 of 10. Still waiting to see a little bit of that Rays drop off, especially when they start going on some of these road trips. So lean here. All the Baltimore offense been going well. A little bit tough to go against McClanahan, but you just got to kind of look past that a little bit. Look at the offenses. Got to look at the over in this game as well. I think we're getting a little bit of a discount of a price because it is McClanahan on the mound. But sitting at 8, you have two teams smacking the shit out of the ball. Wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of runs tonight, Baltimore.
Yeah. Look, McClanahan, you judge. There's no question about it over Gibson. Gibson's been a nice little pickup. Hasn't been great his last couple of times out, but it's been a nice little pickup for Baltimore. But look, one of the top pitchers in the game, the best team in baseball right now. The Tampa Bay's the best team in baseball. There's just no other way to talk about it. Mm-hmm. But you know who has the second best record in the American League? Third best in baseball? It's the Baltimore Orioles, and they're just getting no respect. They're home. They won 7 of 10 meetings in Baltimore last year, as Ben told you. And even though there's a big pitching edge, not enough to be this big a dog. Like I said, here's an Oriole team, 5.5 runs per game, got a loaded lineup, batting .273 against lefties. Big number, home dog, beat Baltimore or nobody.
Yeah, to your point of them not getting any respect, if it was, Red Sox or Yankees nipping at the heels of the Rays in the division, you have Ace on the mound, at Fenway or Yankee Stadium, it's still not going to be minus 180. But like you said, Baltimore, they're nipping at the heels, not getting the same respect. Then we do have the next game with the Yankees. A's at Yankees. You have Sears on the bump for Oakland. He was traded by the Yankees to the A's last year. Still had one start against the Yankees. Was a quality start. He's coming off a quality start with 6 shutout innings. Looking a little bit like the ace for the A's off and on. He's having some good starts, getting hammered in his other starts. Then you have Cortez. Last 2 starts, gave up 11 runs, 10 hits, and 9 2/3. He has been better at home, 2-0, 3.00 in 3 starts. This is an interesting game. Now, I've been starting to like Oakland a little bit these last few games of the series at Kansas City, getting some big dog prices, match up some of the worst teams in baseball. The bats have been going. It's just the pitching. But the Yankees bats have been struggling a little bit. So what's going to give here? Are the Yankees going to be able to hit this Oakland pitching? Is it just going to be, a slugfest there in Yankee Stadium, short fences all around, a lot of runs? Lean here to the A's a little bit. Now, I don't know if I'm getting too high on the A's too soon over evaluating them from a series with Kansas City, but I like what they've done offensively. Yanks coming off a tough series with division rival. Let's lean here a little bit to the Oakland.
Well, you lean there a little bit, and the sharp guys love it. They've buried this number. You could have took 208 on the opener. This game is now down to 170. Even what do you got at 164 at circa? So the sharps have absolutely buried the A's in this one. I think the Yankees have won 7 of the last 8 meetings in Yankee Stadium. Bad collapse for them yesterday. I think they're going to try. Judge is supposedly targeting tomorrow to come back, and then they need him. They just haven't been hitting. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, an outburst for them. How many runs can they get off Sears? We'll see. Cortez not great the last couple of times out. So you know where the sharp guys are. They just buried this price too much for me to be interested in Oakland. Still has the worst road record in baseball, and obviously the worst record in baseball.
White Sox were competing with A's for one of the worst records, and then they got hot. They've won 4 of their last 6, scoring 6.2 runs per game, including 17 at Cincy yesterday. Then you have the Royals coming off that series with Oakland. They're still struggling, but they're scoring almost 7 runs per game their last 4. Just 3 and 16 at home. But one of those wins at home behind Zach Greinke, his last start. He's pitching again today, 5 shutout innings and a win over Baltimore. Greinke at home is just different. I mean, the last 4 home starts this year, he's 1-2 with a 2.82 ERA, had a sub-2 home ERA last season. Cease hasn't been as dominant, 14 runs in 13 innings last 3 starts. Granted, some of that with Tampa Bay, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. And it has always been good against Kansas City. Last year, 1-1, 1.53 in 3 starts. Got to be Casey or nobody in my eyes. Really tough to bet a team 3 and 16 at home. Just Greinke on the mound for them at home is one of their best situations to try and win a baseball game, especially against a division opponent. One of the bottom tier division opponents as well in the Central. They won 10 of 19 meetings last year. They won 6 of 10 in Kansas City. Really tough to bet on a team when you look at that 3 and 16 number. But I do think it's Kansas City or nobody in this game.
Yeah, Cease hasn't been right this year. Last few outings, not good. Two of them happen to be against Tampa Bay, so that's easy enough to explain. But still hasn't been himself. If he was, this game would be more like $1.50. Cease was phenomenal last year. Absolutely owned the Royals. 1-1 with a 1.53 ERA. Don't want to buck that against a team that put 17 on the board, against a team with the worst home record in baseball. The Royals. Greinke, he's pitched well at home. This isn't just this year; it goes back to last year. So in a big sample size, he does a good job at home. Again, 17 runs. White Sox got their ace on the mound. They're playing a little better. The White Sox right now. They're not as bad as their record is. I think it's a fair price. I'll stay off this one.
Astros at Angels. Astros now off to their worst start since 2016 before the consecutive ALCS runs. You have them coming off a loss at Seattle. They've lost 4 of their last 5, scoring under 3 runs a game, not getting it done offensively. And you have this Angels team. They've been hitting pretty good. They dropped the last 2 against the Rangers, but they really went offensively with the Angels or the Rangers for the most part in that series. They're scoring 298. They're scoring 6 runs per game, hitting 298. Wow, couldn't get that out. Astros, they won 7 of 10 at LA last season. Sandoval versus Brown. Brown's been good. Gave up 2 runs against the Giants and just 4 1/3 his last start. His worst start this year. Prior to that, multiple quality starts. And then you have Sandoval. He's been pretty solid as well. 2 starts, 3 earned in 12 innings. The Angels got to take advantage of an opportunity with the Astros kind of not being in their best form. It's going to be tough if the Astros get back to form, when they get back to form, to contend. This is a slight pitching edge. I would give to Sandoval just an experience factor, but Brown, he's been very solid. Would be Angels or nobody for me in this game, slightest of leans. But we saw it with Texas. They took care of business. We saw it with Seattle. They took care of business against Astros. Now the Angels' turn. If they want to compete in this division with those other 3 teams, got to beat up on the Astros while they're not 100% yet.
Yeah, they're not. Batting 209 for the week. Angels batting 298. Big difference there. Sandoval, solid, but Angels have lost 8 of his last 11 home starts. Brown's a good pitcher. I like what I'm seeing with Brown. Wasn't great in his last time out. Prior to that, he'd been really strong out. Again, tough number. I don't make Astros this high a favorite on the road. If it was to go a little higher, at that point, then it could become the home dog for me or nothing. But there's just not a number that I'm in love with. Also, Trout slams into the wall on going for a ball last night. Always got to make sure you got Trout in the lineup. It's a different team if you don't have him or Ohtani in there. So, yeah, Angels are nobody, but I would need to the game will go a little higher to get interested in.
And then we have 2 other teams there battling there in the top of the AL West, Rangers and Seattle. This Rangers offense just getting going. They're coming in red hot, winning 6 of 7, scoring 8 runs per game, hitting 316 this week. Seattle, they've also won 6 of 7. They're scoring 5.4 runs per game. They're towards the bottom of the league as far as batting average, but bat's starting to wake up a little bit. Gilbert versus Gray. Pitching edge to Gilbert. He's had 2 quality starts. He's had good history against the Rangers. 4 starts against the Rangers last year, 1-0, 1.90. And then Gray for Texas, one of the bottom tier rotation guys. 3 starts, 11 runs in 16 2/3. Pitching edge, clear as day here for Gilbert. Offensive edge, got to give the nudge there to Texas. They're just hitting the shit out of the ball. Big dog price for the hottest lineup in baseball right now. Rangers are nobody.
Texas has scored less than 6 runs only once in the last 6 games. Texas leads the major leagues in scoring runs. Seattle scoring better. What are they now? Well, they've won 6 of 7, scoring 5.4 runs a game, but they're still 28th hitting just 224. Big number. Seattle owned this matchup last year. Gilbert owned Texas. Gray had a rough time with the Mariners. But the best hitting team right now in the majors is Texas. They're crushing the ball. This is a big number against a hot-hitting Texas team. Would have to be the dog or nobody for me in this one.
Yep. A lot of power bats going there for Texas. We'll see if that continues to Seattle. We got 2 NBA games tonight, John. I mean, shit, what a weekend in the NBA. Hell of a game with Sixers in Boston. James Harden hitting some big shots down the stretch. And then had that iced off last night with stars showing out. Jokic 50-piece. Booker and Kevin Durant playing out of their damn minds. And that's what I was wishing to see in that game 2 at Denver. In that fourth quarter, those two guys couldn't get any points down the stretch. And now it seems like Denver doesn't have an answer to stop those two guys.
Game 2 at Denver, CP3 goes out in the third. We had Phoenix in that game. CP3 goes out in the third quarter, and Phoenix plays disastrous in the fourth quarter. They get their off days, they figure it out, and now CP3 not meaning as much. Look, obviously means something, but not as much. They figure it out. They get the 2 wins. Denver just can't win on the road. Same thing with Grizzlies. They could not win on the road. That's why we love Lakers in that first series. The early game, Harden, after matching his career playoff high in game 1 with Embiid on the bench, and they steal game 1 at Boston. Just trying to show you how crazy basketball is. So they steal game 1 at Boston with Embiid on the bench. Embiid comes back for game 2. They get slaughtered. They get taken out to the woodshed and beat down. Game 3, Boston beats them again at home. Harden has games 2 and 3 are terrible. They're just terrible. Yeah. And he goes back on fire last night. This is the NBA. Welcome to it. Again, just got to bet the right side. Our one bet this weekend, we had no bet yesterday. Our one bet this weekend was a love bet on the Knicks in game 3. They pulled an absolute no-show for us. Julius Randle, after missed game 1, coming back for game 2, looked good. Game 3, no-show. Him and Brunson shoot a combined 0 for 10 from 3. They were never in the game. Duncan Robinson hits a 3 to open up the second quarter. From that point on, their lead was never less than double digits. I think it's different today. While their offense was horrid, they just played their D. Heat had their worst shooting game of the postseason. Guys, look, you got to remember. Heat, let me pull up my stats. Heat were they scored the least amount of points in the NBA during the regular season. Just give me one sec. Scored the least amount of points during the regular season. So just give me a sec so I can find this here. They were last scoring 109.5 points per game. They were 26th in shooting at 46% from the field. 27th, shooting 34.4% from three-point percent. But all of a sudden comes the playoffs. They're the third highest scoring team, third in field goal percent, second in three-point percent. On top of the bargain, they're doing this without their best shooter, Tyler Hero.
Yep.
So at some point, there had to be a regression. They couldn't keep up doing what they were doing, and we saw it in Game 3. Now, the Knicks had no offense. I expect the Knicks to continue to play their D. Miami not to shoot the eyes out of the basket. Butler, solid, strong game his last game out, but not the insane game. Remember, he came back off the ankle. I love the Knicks plus 4.5 going into this game tonight. I think they respond coming off their ugliest game of the playoffs, being held to 86 points. I think they come up and this could be an outright shock to Miami, who was just that they're a different team in the playoffs. But like I said, things tend to catch up. You can't go from being the worst shooting team all season long to being the best when you're missing one of your best shooters. Doesn't make sense. There should be some regression. I see that coming again. Saw it Saturday. I think it'll be more so tonight.
Yeah, Knicks got to step up offensively, holding Miami down to 105. Not the end of the world there. Yeah, three-point shooting for the Knicks has to be better. You just can't win in this league without three-point shooting. So we'll see if that steps up and improves. I agree with you. It's Knicks or nobody in this game. 2-1 of the series. We have 2 series that have not wrapped up, but finished game 4. Those are both 2-2. This is another one I would expect to get to 2-2. Knicks defensively still been solid. That's kind of when they're going to have to get going more offensively. The transition buckets are going to have to take that defense to the offense. As far as Jimmy Butler, he looked pretty good, all considered with the ankle issue. But he did have one moment in that game where he kind of stepped wrong and started limping a bit more. I mean, he is one wrong step, one wrong turn from being out of game 4. It's something to keep in mind when betting this game. Definitely like the value there with the Knicks. I expect a better competition as well this go around.
Look, Brunson tweaked the ankle also.
Yes.
Yeah, reports are he'll play, but quickly he sprained the ankle and he's going to be out. He's going to be out tonight. Thibodeau, known for playing his guys to the bone, though. They'll run out there, and guys like Hart, Brunson, they'll all see 40-plus minutes. So, yeah, it's obviously a loss. It's not a huge front line guy. Still like the Knicks in this one. And I think we'll see a 2-2 series also in this one.
Then we have one more, John. Do we get 4-2-2 series? We have Warriors at Lakers. Lakers game 3. I mean, they just do what they do on their home floor with that defense. They held down Golden State, who's one of the top scoring teams this year, to 100 points. Just get behind that. They still shot 44% from 3. This Lakers team looked really good there in that game 3. And it just gets behind that defense. They still won. They haven't lost on their home floor yet in the playoffs. Do they continue to protect home court? They already got their one they stole in the series, can go on a similar trek. I would lean the Lakers here. I mean, you have Golden State, who's not been getting it done on the road. Yes, they started to in the back end of that Sacramento series. Don't know if they're going to be able to handle this. I don't know if you saw that quote from Draymond on his podcast he did after game 3, but Steph was walking up to him and was like, I have no idea. I can't figure out what Bron's doing. Because he wasn't shooting early and then started getting going. That's when the Lakers are at their best, when LeBron's taking a step back, letting the other guys like D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Davis take over. When those guys execute, they're a really tough team to beat. And they tend to execute better at home. D'Angelo Russell specifically, they haven't lost in the playoffs. When he scores over 15 points, he scored over 15 all his home games. I expect that to continue as well.
Well, it's an even game, so we're not expecting much out of AD. Looks like his odd games, he comes up with a huge one, and he takes the even games off. This line opened up at 4 and went down to 3. Golden State was the play because of the blowout, ugly 30-point beatdown that they took. But I wanted to bet Golden State, but I wanted a bigger number than this. This is the right number. 3 is the right number on the game. I thought this would be a higher number in a game. Golden State, let me see it. Golden State, worst road record of any playoff team, 12-33 now, including the playoffs, and worst against the spread road record of any team in the NBA this year. So not bad, horrible on the road. Lakers have been great at home. They've won all 5 of their home games in the postseason, counting the play-in game with the Timberwolves. That's the only game that they didn't cover was against the Timberwolves. They're 4-1 against the spread. So I was looking to take Golden State in this one, but I wanted a bigger number than 3. This is a no bet for me at 3.
Yeah, tough game there. Might be something interesting as well. Golden State first half, see if they come out well. But I lean the Lakers in that game. John, that's all we got. We have 2 NBA games tonight. We have the 11 baseball games, a lot of dog action in MLB. Hopefully we pick up right where we left off yesterday. And you give out that love bet on the Knicks. So hopefully Knickerbockers come in and take care of business tonight.
Knicks and in the baseball, dogs, and some more dogs. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money, guys.